Hi, this is Shane with The Rational Trader, and it is Thursday the 17th. And my result for the day was nothing, scratch, because I made a mistake and didn't have the system running. And the reason I made a mistake is kind of what's on screen here. I've been working on the auto trading portion of the system. And what we're trying to do here is recognize that the way that you really sort of clean up in the market is to get into a move and maximize it. And so what I've done here is I've added to the auto trading system some logic such that once you get in on a machine learning signal, then there's certain behaviors that you add on. So you can see here that this was just the normal failed break long signal, and then here is an add that's done automatically. When that happens, the system moves the stop to break even automatically for you, and then it'll start trailing by what we've specified, which is 40 ticks. But it also will. There's like a shadow trail that's going on to these lines, and so once you cross through there, that's when the system exits. In this particular case, we hit target, so that didn't happen here. When the system moves the stop to your break even, it also moves the target to the same amount that it was from the break even amount. In fact, I think let's look at the next one, and then I think what I'll do is let me replay this so you can see that happen. And so anyway, the point here is that instead of getting, this is a nice entry off the system. And I would make, with a 20 tick trail, I'd get pulled out here and not make too much. That's what actually happened on Monday. This is Monday's day. If I trail to the zigzag, I'm going to do better here. Okay. And then I'll actually hit my 80 tick target if I do that. But if I add, now I'm going to get two contracts, riding this move up. And it happens to be that we just get a spectacular exit there, just coincidentally. Otherwise, we would have gotten out here when the market pulled through there. The short that occurred is here, and then there's an add here. This is an add on this break is what's happening. The market's breaking through there, and so we're adding there. We trail to this zigzag here, okay, and then we trail to here, and the target is down here somewhere, so we end up getting out right there. Do you see? Once the market pulls back through this area here, and so you end up making that on $50 of risk. Okay. The other real benefit here is that you end up avoiding taking losses in here. Now it's a little hard to see because I've got these green ones printing for a different reason, but these are short signals from the machine learning system. It's starting to see the end, but you can see they're too soon actually. And so what happened to me in Monday is I got taken out in this little pullback here and took a loss there, all right, and then got this short here, right here, and that's all that I got in real time. You can go back and look at that video, you'll see. But if instead we can add to the position, not only do we carry more contracts through the move, but we avoid exposing ourselves to new risk, all right? So what I'll do here is let me set this up to replay so we can watch this happen, and then we'll call that today's video. Now, before I do that, let's review this real quick. This specifies this orange cell here, how many ticks to trail to below the zigzag. Okay, so you can give it more or less depending on your tolerance or the market you're trading. This is the minimum number of ticks before you can add. So you got to get 30 ticks before you can add, and this is configurable. I just put 30 because I want to move to break even. So, and I use a 10 tick stop. So if you get 30 ticks, then you're moving your stop, and now you're giving the market 15 ticks of room, and then it's either going to take you out at scratch or off it goes. This is specifying how many times can I add. So this says you can only get to 2 contracts. You can make this anything you want. Right? If you do this, it'll just keep adding every time it sees a behavior that you've specified. And then these are the behaviors down here. On a break, after a pullback. So the pullback completes and then continues, and it'll add there. A runaway is a special price action thing in the rational trader philosophy of looking at the market speeding up. You see it. You see it right here, where 1, 1, 1. You get 3 of these in a row, and that's an acceleration of the market. And then this is a reversal pattern, a particular pattern of bars right there is where you see it. So it would, if it hadn't already added, it would have added right there. Okay, so with that in mind, let's set up the replay so we can watch this. All right, so here we are starting the there's the 151 code. So we need an up bar, which we get there. 151 is a failed break short. Now let's pause for a second and take a look at what we have. So this means, come here, we broke through there. The machine learning system is predicting that the break will not succeed. We then wait for an up bar, which is a refinement to the entry, and then we get filled right there at 87.75. Note that we're at 7. This is 20 points away, 80 ticks. Okay, so let's draw a line there so we can see that, because that's gonna move automatically when we add. Okay, so let's just stick that right there. And now let's continue. And then what's going to happen is we've got add on break set here. And so when we break through here, because we're this distance more than 30 ticks away, it's going to go ahead and automatically add a contract and then move all the stops and targets correctly. Okay, and then we'll start trailing after that. We're set to only do two contracts, so that's one add. So right there, let's pause now. We broke through. We're more than 30 ticks away from our entry, so it auto adds at the market. And move the stop to entry +1, not entry, break even +1. Okay, and the target moved also. So the target moved to break even plus the original amount, 80 ticks. Okay. And so now all this is happening automatically. Now what's going to happen as we continue, the system will start to trail by 40 ticks, which is what we have set here. But then there's actually a shadow trail going on too, which you can't see on screen, where it's trailing to, as soon as this wave completes, it'll be trailing to this level here, that pink line you see there that I just drew over. Okay, so if at this point the market rolls back over, we'll get out right there at 96.50. I tried to get this stop itself to move there. I couldn't quite get it yet. I think I can, but we have a different system running to take us out if we break through this this pullback level. Now, as it happens, I think we're going to go all the way and hit that target. Let's speed it up now, because we're only going to add. We're at 2 contracts, so we won't add any more. We'll run another test here with 3. You'll see it add again. This particular bunch here is interesting because if you're not careful, you can add way too many. And so one of the things we did was set it up so that as you add contracts, the distance that you travel has to increase. Or rather, the distance needs to stay about the same. The actual dollar value has to increase. And so we're careful about making sure you don't just add too many. So there we hit target, 80 ticks. It actually works out to be 2 ticks more than that. And actually now we're going short. So now let's pause this and go back and set this to more than 2 and watch what happens. Let's set it to 4. Let's go up 1. We'll set it to 3. Okay. So this made 40.5 points. All right. So that's what is that? $810 on that trade. So let's reset it, and we'll do it with 3. Don't go away. All right. So here we are again now. replaying. We should add on the break here. I have all the different add types set. I don't remember what comes next. So there's the break, adding on the break. Let's pause for a second now. So it happened too quick, but the same thing happened where the stop moved to break even +1, and now it's trailing by 40. And now let's watch for the next add here. Actually, the reason it's so fast is I have it set to 30. Let's change this back to 10. I don't remember where it is. We need more distance before it's going to add. We have to get up here. So right there. So when we got on this bar here, we got enough distance, and this pullback finished. So we get enough movement up. That wave is complete now, and that's when we do the add. And you'll see here also that the stop moved correctly to the new break even +1 automatically, and then this target is now at break even +80. Okay, now let's see how it works out though. It may not be better, because the market may not hit that target. So let's watch and see what happens. It's going to depend on how much the market moves, how wild it is. Is it pulling back to sorry, this is a little loud. Is it pulling back to pulling through the zigzag levels, or is it behaving like it is here, where it it does pull back, but this actually looks like a failed break right here. But then when it comes back down, it doesn't go through, right? The buyers step in and keep it up. So as long as you're getting higher lows, you're gonna stay in. The way we're trailing, the auto trail that Sierra Chart's doing is 40 ticks. That's the most I'm willing to give back, basically. Anything less than that, and I'll trail. There's a shadow trail right here now. If it falls through there, we'll just exit with all of our contracts. Breaking through now. This is the auto trail happening. Now, here's a key point. That's a short. I think I mentioned this already, where if I was out, I'd be looking to take that trade on a down bar, right? And in fact, if I recall now, these are sort of presaging the ultimate failure here. The market's going to top out. So this trail is by 40. So what's happening down here? We don't have a level yet that we would exit on, because the shadow trail is down here at this last zigzag. So we'll move this here once it pulls back. Target is up there. Would be interesting to try to keep the original targets of 80, 80, and 80. So let's see now. I think this is it here, and we're going to get a level here, and then it'll come back down. So here's our shadow level, our shadow trail. Actually, no, it's going to go higher. So we're at 46, 40, 44, 42 points now on three contracts we're carrying. You'll notice the 3 here, right there. You can see that. So the shadow trail is right here now. When we blow through that, it exits right away. It also happens to be a new short signal, so don't let that confuse you. Let me pause this for a second. So you can see, that's interesting. We also got a new short right there. The lines here are connecting the entries to the exit. All right, and if we look at the flags up here, we got 17.75, 8.75, and 4 from each of them. So for a total of 30. So actually less, right, than with 2 contracts. So that's a useful data point. It's only 1 day, but I think we tend to think that, okay, if I can get more contracts in the market, I'll make more money, and that's true up to a point, right? There's going to be a spot where you start not making as much because of the way that you're exiting. So what I'm going to do now is take this tool and go run baseline tests against the kind of the normal market period, which we use for December and January. We use a different model for February and March because it was so volatile. And then the thing to do is test. Okay, well, how many ads before I start? It starts not working out for me. And then you've got different choices here. What works better: the breaks, the pullbacks. This runaway means the system's just taking off. We're seeing an acceleration and reversal patterns. So a lot of work to do there, but sort of in line with what we're doing with the machine learning system. It's completely automated. There's no human intervention, so there's no subjectivity. It's very easy to just load up the beginning of December model and run December and January with different settings and see what the results are, and then use that as a basis for moving forward.